I am back here in Carson City at the historic Carson City Mint. You'd see the mountains with some snow in the background. I was just here last October, so about 6 months ago, was able to tour the Mint. I'm going to go in there and check it out again and just see how it goes. So please stay tuned if you'd like to see a little bit more of the Carson City Mint. Stacking Cat. Welcome to the Stacking Cat channel, where I talk all things silver with a little bit of gold. If you want to see more of this type of content, then please subscribe and push that notification bell. If you enjoy this video, then hit that like button. Okay, so as I mentioned just earlier, this is my second trip here in the last 6 months. I am currently on the end leg of my Nevada road trip. We're at the beginning of April 2021, so I decided to come back up here, check out the coin shops, check out the Mint. So let's cross the street to Carson Street and check it out. I am now inside the lobby. I'm here right at the Mint opening. It opened just a few minutes ago, so I hope it's not too crowded. So you can see here is the Carson City Mint bell, which was rung every day between 8:30 in the morning to 4:30 p.m. During the time which the Mint was open, and even a little bit after into 1930, and the Mint, of course, closed in 1893. But yeah, this thing is pretty cool. They have a Liberty Bell reproduction out front. We'll check that out later. Okay, so I'm downstairs at the Mint. This is a pretty big museum. The Mint is located on the bottom floor, and here is some weighing scales for large amounts of bullion. As you can see, what is it? 10,000 ounces. Wow, that is a stack, I have to tell you. A large amount of bullion. For sure, silver. Of course, Virginia City's right up the road. A lot of silver was mined. We are in the silver state, Nevada, so that may have something to do with it. But just look at this thing. Just massive. See what this plaque says. So this was made in Philadelphia and shipped out here to Carson City way back when. And as I come around the corner, I come across the famous coin press #1. Of course, this was here until 1893 when the Mint closed. It was then shipped off to San Francisco, where it was used at that Mint for quite a number of years until it went into disrepair. Somebody out there discovered this at the old Mint, and they shipped it back to Carson City, where they refurbished it a little bit. But in the early 1960s, there was a coin shortage here in the United States, and the Kennedy administration sent this thing to Denver, where it produced something like 118 million coins, 50 million pennies. When they no longer needed it, they shipped it back here to Carson City. So we can get into the mechanics. There's a little coin bucket. But this is the featured attraction here at the Mint, I would have to say. And as we look over, you can see that there are demonstrations that will begin this July 4th. Every Saturday where they will mint you a coin. There are certain commemoratives that they do have. So if you're in this area coming up in the summertime, be sure to come here on a Saturday. It'll probably be busy, but you'll have a good chance to get a cool coin. So here is a fun little exhibit. Just a lot of the different items that they had here at the Mint that they used to produce coins and bullion and a bunch of other things like that, and just tools of the trade when it comes down to it. We have ledgers showing ingot production. We have pouring ladles. We have a bunch of stuff here. I mean, look at that thing, that ingot mold right here. 210 ounces. That's kind of a strange amount. or weight. But, back then everything was poured. It wasn't machined, so at least I don't think it was. So it was a lot more difficult. You can see all these different bullion molds. I don't know, that looks like it might be like 1,000 ouncer. We have the bags that all the coins were put in, like the Morgans, the Seated Liberties. We have some of the coin presses that you'll see, the stamps that they were able to put on, or the dies, is what I'm trying to say. A few other things. These were the canceled ones that they were unable to use. Maybe they broke. I don't know. But just a bunch of other cool stuff. Scale for weighing smaller bullion, or maybe even some silver mined that came in from a miner or a townsperson. They throw it in there and trade it in for a little bit of money. So really cool exhibit here. And here is the second best attraction here at the Mint. For us stackers and coin collectors, probably number one, but all the different coins, gold and silver, that they minted here. You can see all the different Liberty Head types. We have the of gold, we have the Seated Liberty, we have the silver trade dollar. Sorry about the glare. It's behind plastic. See my reflection a little bit. But here's another one, Seated Liberty silver dime, the 20-cent piece, which is super rare, from 1875 and 1876. A quarter, Seated Liberty quarter. Here's the Seated Liberty half dollar. All those would carry a super high premium. And of course, the Morgan dollar, the most famous, I would say, of all the Carson City minted items. Try to get that as close as I can, but the Carson City Morgan dollar, 1878, so the first year that they came out with it. Beautiful coin. And here are all the Seated Liberty dollars that they had. Only 19,288 minted, so that is a super rare coin. Rarer than any Morgan dollar. Maybe not as valuable, but here are all the Morgan dollars that they had throughout the years and their mintage totals. They call it the Liberty dollar, but of course we all know it as the Morgan dollar after the designer, Mr. Morgan himself. And here's a few others that they have over here. William Barber designed these ones, these trade dollars. So a lot of cool items here in this exhibit. If you are a coin buff and you're in this area, or even if you just want to go on a vacation, you can head up to Reno, whatever it is. Moving on, we have another exhibit display of some items that were used here, some tools, and a big old sign-in book ledger from everybody who came to the Carson City Mint. No matter where you came from, you had to sign in and you had to write the city that you were from. You got to remember this was a federal mint, so they had to be worried about a lot of different things. Counterfeiters, different types of saboteurs. I mean, a lot of issues to deal with. But as you can see, all the different cities, Virginia City up there. We have a Philadelphia, San Francisco right above it. So this was just a way to keep track of people signing in, so they knew exactly when they were there and what their business was. Not much different to today if you're signing in on like a computer system or scanning in at work or whatever you're doing, but really cool to see this old history. Here's a pretty neat display, a mountain of solid silver and all the different veins of silver that you would find within the different type of rocks and all that when you were out there mining. How you were able to find it, what type of silver there was. There's also gold ore rocks here as well. So it's silver and gold, and where it comes from at its rawest form before they're able to mine it, process it, ship it off to an assay office, sell it to the mint, and mint the coin. This is where it all starts. So it really it just shows where everything comes from. The aspect of really farm to table, but silver to stack. I guess you'd have to say, my stupid joke, but silver to stack. right here, a mountain of solid silver. Okay, so we are about to head into an old mining town exhibit. Really dark in here, though. Let's see here. Dedicated to William M. Donovan. You guys want to go ahead and read what it has to say. I'll leave it up here for a few seconds. But this is, yeah, really dark. It's almost like being on a Disneyland dark ride or Disney World dark ride, like Pirates of the Caribbean or something, one of those. Pretty ominous in here, but it is neat nonetheless. And this is just what a mining town would look like at night, I presume. You can see an old miner just hanging out, just chilling. Right in front of the saloon, of course. After a long day of work, had to swill some whiskey, maybe drink a few flat beers. But yeah, a few other things. Here we go, is a Great Basin Assay Office. Now, this is where you would go if you had a little bit of raw silver or gold, dust or little rocks, whatever it may be. You'd go in there and see how much it was worth and maybe trade it in for some coinage yourself. Cut out the middleman. So here would be a printing press or maybe the newspaper if you wanted a sign printed. Of course, the inn or the hotel. Mining and milling. A lot of lumber back then. So yeah, this is a cool exhibit. I like how they did it. I had to step back into the artillery room. If you want to check out, I did a video on this back last October, I believe, maybe early November, about the museum outside of the Mint, so go check that out if you guys want to. But of course, here is an old Gatling gun. Just imagine staring down the barrel of that. Of course, you'd be like a mile downrange or whatever, but yeah, this thing is a phenomenal piece of machinery and artillery. Just, it was a 19th century creation. The first mass machine gun, I guess you'd have to call it that. Here's an old picture. Dun 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 dun. And we have the Ponderosa, of course, Virginia City, about 5 miles north of here. And what do we have over here? Well, you could see a TNT plunger, some dynamite at the end of that. You have an old pump. Just a lot of mining equipment that you would see out there if you were working the mine shafts. You can see the scale, kind of a larger scale. And I believe they have a small one right next to it. Yeah. All right, we have a lantern, a coffee pot, some pretty cool stuff. Got copper. So World War I, the Nevada copper industry was really big. As you guys could see, a large outline there. Now here's an exhibit that is personal to me. My grandfather was on the USS Nevada during Pearl Harbor, that fateful day, December 7th, 1941. Luckily, he came out alive. Of course, many of his friends did not. But here is all of the silverware, the silver plates, everything, the candelabras. They came out of the USS Nevada, the ship. So the ship actually survived well enough to where they rebuilt it, and it was put back into service, I want to say until 1959, sometime in the late 50s. But you could see a lot of cool silver items. I mean, this is all sterling. You have bowls, you have serving platters with Nevada. That thing is awesome. So yeah, this is a personal thing for me and also for our country and the world for that matter. I mean, World War II was such a devastating and big event. And so, I mean, it's really, really awesome that they are able to display a lot of this stuff that came off of that ship from that day. December 7th, 1941. You can see pictures, gravy boats, a lot of different things. And it's really neat that they're doing all the silver just because, of course, Nevada is a silver state. This is the Nevada State Museum, and so they were able to exhibit all of this stuff dedicated to the USS Nevada. So maybe it was 1946, not the late 50s, that it ended. Wow, I thought it went a little past then. Maybe not. I guess it made it through World War II, and that was it. But still, a 30-year run, pretty good, through 2 wars, if you think about it, because we entered World War I here in the U.S. in 1917. I don't know if it was out there for that one, but for sure, World War II, just a really heartwarming exhibit just to see them put all of that stuff out there. Now we have the stuff that we like. Moving along, we have some Nevada silver bullion. We're going to check out some silver bars, some ingots. You could see a bar there in the mold. This would be fun to own. That's really cool. You can see some hand-poured bars from way back when, well over 100 years ago, 2 centuries ago, the 19th century. Let's get a little closer as best that I can. I believe that says milled in Nevada. Some of these old silver bars, as you can see, they're not really precision. They're not machined. You just poured it inside the cast, and that's how the ingot came out. This would be awesome if it was real. Look at all those bars. Of course, the replicas on the bullion cart. That's how they would move it along. I don't know if they were on rails, as you guys could see how the wheels are set up, but let's see what it says here. Bullion wagon, used in the Carson City Mint to move ingots from one room to another. Gotta love the ingenuity and just the simplicity of back then. I am now back outside of the Mint. Really cool old building. A great piece of American history, of coinage, silver, and all of that, and even some gold. If you're ever out here, like I mentioned earlier, check this place out. It is well worth it. The admission is, I forget what it was less than $10. It was like $5 or $6. They are open pretty early. Get here early if you can, so it's not as crowded, but just in the middle of town here in Carson City, you got the snow-capped mountains in the background. What more can you ask for? Just a really fun place to visit, and I highly recommend checking it out. And that's going to do it for this video. Thank you to everybody for coming along on this little journey, checking out all the different exhibits. I hope that you all enjoyed it. And if you'd like to see videos about silver with a little bit of gold, then please subscribe and push that notification bell, smash that like button, and leave a comment. And until next time, this is the Stacking Cat.